And good morning on a Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day with the morning coffee with Marcaida. And today's thought will be on a memory I'll share from one of my favorite instructors, one of the legendary instructors I got the pleasure of working with, the late Edgar Solite. I remember when I first learned from him, we went out to lunch after one of his seminars. And one of the things that was interesting is the way he sat and was telling us stories. He goes, I picked a spot. And he goes, no, let's sit over here. And immediately he sat and leaned on the wall. He goes, let me tell you a game that I play. And his game was saying, first, you have to look at your environment. The first thing you do is when you enter, look for your exits. Usually the entrance or other possible exits. That's the first thing he looks for. Next thing that he starts looking at are the tables or your environment. He goes, what will obstruct me from getting to those exits? Or what can I use to obstruct anybody from coming at me? What can I barricade myself with? Then he starts looking at other places to possibly get behind to slow down an opponent. And then look at everything around you to see what you can use as a weapon. So if it's an ashtray, if there are implements that you can do and make it projectile by throwing, if it's something you can pick up, look at the attributes. Does it have a sharp edge? Does it have a blunt edge? All these other things that he would look at immediately simply by sitting down. Because I always like my back to the walls because I can see everything in front of me. If behind here, I will use the mirrors to be able to look at my awareness 360. He always played this game. Then eventually he goes, then the next thing is I look at the people. I look at the people that are around me. I look at the loud guy over there who's probably going to be trying to look for problems, but really not because he's just very loud. Or the very quiet person there that's very sneaky, who's got shifty eyes. Or the person who keeps checking something in his pockets because he's probably checking his weapon at all points. I mean, you can get deeply into all these different things that, this is early 90s when it was taught to me. And I was like, wow, this is very cool. He goes, you're paranoid. He goes, not paranoid. It's called prepared. You see, when you do this and it takes practice, it becomes habit. You come in, boom, boom, boom. No different than what people who do surveying or military law enforcement, all these sort of things, for your personal awareness, your situational awareness, it becomes a game. You go, come here, close your eyes, I'll tell me what you see. But why would you do this? Because it's practice. They go, so if you're going out all the time to bars or places and everything, and this is just a regular family restaurant, and he was doing this. It automatically goes automatic so that you can enjoy yourself, but you're prepared. He goes, if something were to happen right now, right here, right now, you're prepared. And preparedness is key. Preparedness is key for everything else. So when you're doing that, it may seem like a lot of work in the beginning, but later on, if you do it a lot, it becomes habit, and you're prepared for anything that happens. You should have the same plan when you're at home. Or where are the places that you frequent a lot? Home. You heard stories of home invasion. I mean, do you have these things that you around the house doing the same kind of game that every entrances, every walkways have a possibility of finding weapons to protect yourself? Home invasion strategies. Everything has a plan. Even if you just make it as simple as a disaster preparedness plan. Let's say you have a fire. Where is everybody going to meet? Did you tell your kids where you're going to meet? Or in a bigger scale of things, they have the same thing in school where they meet in the field or something, a safe place to be. You should have one for your family if anything happens, like, cell phones may not work. Do you have a designated place to do all this? A plan. Preparedness is key. So you have places where you frequent that you have this in plan as a habit and a game to play because it's kind of fun. Because later on you can ask, hey, did you notice this? You notice that with my friends. We got to the points where we're like, where's your weapon? You tap onto that, or where's this, or where's that, or how would you use that? It was a thing that I did, and we had so much fun doing that. Now, if you can do this in areas where you frequent that are bars or restaurants or your workplace or home, then you've made yourself an idea of how to keep things safe. Now, how about turning it around and saying, if I've gotten the practice of making things safe, will I have the practice of making things happy? How do I do that? Have you ever thought about, let's say, workplace, spend a lot of time there. What can I do in this situation right here, in my environment, that I can make things happier? Maybe a simple candy dish to pass out. Maybe a little bit of sweetness for the day for that. Maybe surround yourself with pictures of beautiful things that remind you of your hometown or where you'd like to be, so that they're positive thoughts that are out framed around. So when people sit there, they go, I like this place. There's something about this where I can take a break and sit here. And I like visiting your desk, or I like visiting you. Why? It's such a comforting place. It's such a happy place. How? Through habit, you've made it that way. It's a matter of you taking the initiative to do that. If you're at home, what can I do to come home and feel and share the brightness around it? This all takes work. Make it happier. If you're in one cubicle and it's so dark and gloomy in there, bring a plant, have a friend, have a planter to talk to, something to brighten your day, something to share the misery and have it, and we're going to make this together. It takes habit and practice of controlling your environment to be safe, but if you can make it safe, you can also make it happy. And that takes practice too. It takes effort to do everything that you want, but it's your call. There's a simple thought for the day. Hope it makes sense. You can play the game, play it with others, share it. It's always about situational awareness. Situational awareness to be safe, but then also play the games of situational awareness, to be happy. And you can do that by playing games and looking at the funny things that are around you. Ever remember doing this with my kids? We'd go around, hey, Dad, look at that. My kids always point out beautiful things that make me laugh. I, on the other hand, would point out the grossest things you ever had. Oh, Dad, that's gross and everything. Look at that. So that is a dead rabbit right there, ran over by something. Well, dads will be dads and show that. But nonetheless, that's a situational awareness that I had fun and play games with. Hopefully you do the same. Doug Marcaida here, morning coffee, cup of joe. Always good to start the day. Take care, folks.